Hey guys, Dillon here. I hope you're having a killer day. Today we're going to be doing a countdown of our top 6 best horror sequels of all time. This video is just an opinion, so try not to beat us up too bad in the comments. Also, remember to like and share this video as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified when we put out a video each and every week. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at DilLon666 and make sure you follow Kleaver on all of the social platforms at TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Keep us making content at Kleaver Klothing, Kleaver with a K, Klothing with a K. And for those of you taking the time to watch this video, we want to offer you something very special at Salem666.com. We are your destination for the most killer clothing ever made. All clothes are 0% cotton and 100% evil, just so you know what you're up against. Also, be sure to check out the 27 Club. It is a once-a-month drop that Spencer and myself do where we release limited edition merchandise, clothing at 27-club.com. Check it out around the 27th of every month. Now that we got that out of the way, let's cut into our top 6 best horror sequels of all time. Coming in at number 6, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Let me start by saying this. It's one of the greatest misinterpretations in the horror genre that the first Texas Chainsaw was actually a gory movie. This was not the case. Recently, I watched Texas Chainsaw 2 again for the first time in a while, and I've come to realize how brilliant and gory that one was. 12 years after Texas Chainsaw, Hooper returned for a sequel and delivered an actual gore fest. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is an absolute nuthouse of a black comedy. Dennis Hopper plays a chainsaw-wielding Texas Ranger who's hell-bent on catching the first film's cannibal crew. Then you have Bill Moseley, who is amazing as the hammer-swinging Chop Top Sawyer. Also, Leatherface gets way too horny to commit a murder. Now, this sequel doesn't add much to the first film, but as far as sequels go, I think it's pretty alright. Making the cut at number 5, Psycho 2. It's hard to argue that Psycho isn't one of the greatest slasher flicks ever made. Hell, it's arguably one of the founding fathers of the genre. How can you live in a world where Psycho is the only Psycho? You really can't lose with Psycho 2, which is more of just a showcase for Perkins than just jump scares. Director Richard Franklin is no Hitchcock, I might add, but nonetheless, Perkins remains remarkable as Norman Bates. This story takes place where he gets released from a psychiatric hospital 22 years after the events of Psycho. The actor lends an aching tenderness to Norman's attempts to get back into society, even as Norma's voice still echoes in his head. A little more depressing and somber than the first Psycho, the sequel is still able to satisfy anyone who wants to catch up with a mother's favorite boy. Slashing its way into number 4 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. New Nightmare opens with buckets of blood as the effects crew working on the new Freddy movie are attacked by his scissor gloves. The cast and crew of the original Nightmare on Elm Street play themselves 20 years later with Heather Langenkamp, who starred as Nancy in the first and third flick, on the cusp of reprising her role in the new Freddy film. This turn of events causes the fictional Freddy to cross the threshold from make-believe to reality and begin invading the nightmares of Heather's on-screen son. Craven's original intended version of Freddy makes his appearance here. He's a far more menacing, evil creation than the funny guy in stripes he later ends up portraying in the earlier sequels.
How about this, Doc?
But I love Freddy in pretty much any portrayal with the exception of the more recent remake where they didn't use Robert Englund, who is the only Freddy Krueger. Changed my mind. Hands down the most brutal Freddy ever and whose first appearance in this film will make you shudder. Stabbing into the number 3 slot on this countdown is Halloween H2O 20 years later. John Carpenter's original film belongs on the Mount Rushmore of horror movies. A straight-up masterclass in tension and release, this film is as chilling today as it was in 1978. Halloween H2O 20 years later, it's not a perfect movie, but Jamie Lee Curtis's return as Laurie Strode, now running a boarding school and having some serious PTSD, is a really intense performance. The story finds Laurie Strode living a new life as a private school principal, Carrie Tate, in the California hills alongside her 15-year-old son, John. H2O arrived in the post-Scream afterglow, where slashers actually got a gnarly budget, and genre veteran Steve Miner, Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3, adds a wonderful late 90s polish to the action. This is also the most disturbing display of the connection between Laurie and Michael ever felt. A real destined to be together vibe that adds more to the mythology that is Michael Myers. Make no mistake, Halloween H2O is a cut above the rest, as John Wayne Bobbitt would say. It's as scary as it is gory. Number 2 is for the sadomasochists in us all. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. After the unexpected hit that was the first Hellraiser film, they basically greenlit the second one, given a big budget, and were like, hell, let's make something weird. Hellbound's Hellraiser 2 delivers on all of the sick, twisted derangements offered by Hell's favorite dominating pinhead, and then some. The film's first and only survivor, Christy Cotton, descends into the hell world to save her father's soul, pursued by her undead and sometimes skinless stepmother Julia, and a devious doctor named Philip who is simply pleading for the Cenobites to torture fuck him to death. The film's a little much, but not without much love is what I'm saying. This gruesome, macabre BDSM shit conjured up by director Tony Randall is often tasteful in its grossness. That's what I know about pain. Calling in to the number 1 spot on this countdown is Scream 2. How does one follow up a game changer like Scream? By keeping it simple. This sequel relocates the Slangs to a college campus where Sydney's world is once again turned upside down. Scream 2 stands firmly on its own 2 feet as a tight, scary slasher. Perhaps one of my favorite things about the sequel is how Craven brings an even bigger cast of college kids, and even Sarah Michelle Gellar, to get sliced and diced by Ghostface. Everything from the direction, the lighting, the sharp and quirky script. Scream 2 replicates Scream's stylistic elements perfectly. Fuck what Randy said, the horror genre is certainly not destroyed by sequels. Please like and share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can be notified every single time we put out a new video. Remember, Kleaver is the horror destination to get the most evil killer clothing. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a killer day. Peace, love, and O.J. Simpson.